September 15 to October 15 is National Hispanic Heritage Month, which traditionally honors Hispanic cultures and contributions as we celebrate heritage rooted in all Latin American countries. The theme for 2024 is, quote, "Pioneers of Change, Shaping the Future Together," end quote. Our first speaker today is one such pioneer of change. As a staff attorney for Greater Hartford Legal Aid, her steadfast commitment to justice and community is expressed through her representation of underserved people. Please welcome to Justice Southbury, Attorney Ramona Mercado-Espinoza.
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, buenas tardes. I'm Ramona Mercado-Espinoza. Please call me Ramona. I want to thank Attorney Richardson for inviting me here to speak with you today about the Hispanic heritage and about my background. Thank you. See, being tall is a wonderful thing. I came here when I was 10 years old. I was born in Puerto Rico to two loving people. My parents were very religious, very Catholic, and as Catholics, they decided to have 9 children. I am the 5th child of the 9 children. I divide the family in half. My parents had a farm in Puerto Rico and had crops, tobacco, sugarcane, cows, pigs, goats, and we ate from the land, and my father sold his products in the city. In 1966, canned goods were introduced into the Puerto Rican culture and in stores. When my father brought his crops to the city, fresh crops, he could not sell. People weren't buying. They already had bought their canned products. Unfortunately, my father ran out of money and decided to bring himself and my oldest brother, Francisco, to Connecticut. Here they worked in the farms, in the tobacco farms in Connecticut. They were able to save enough money, and within a year, we united, all of us, all 9 children, and my parents. We lived in New Britain, Connecticut, and, you know, when I lived in Puerto Rico, I dreamt throughout that year that my father was here working, that America was clean, and there were white houses with fences, and as we drove to New York, to Connecticut, and got into New Britain, I was shown where we lived, and it was this huge building, brick building, and we lived on the 3rd floor. I figured the whole building was ours because I didn't know. And I thought that every floor had a bathroom, so when I went to use the bathroom on our floor, I thought, well, the 2nd floor must be available. The bathroom is ours. I tried to open the door. I couldn't get in, and people said, "Who's there?" And I ran upstairs, so scared. From there, from that building that the 9 children lived in with my parents, my father worked in a factory and was able to save money with my brother's help to buy a home in New Britain, and we were able to buy our own home by 1968. I went to public schools, and I didn't speak a word of English. Yes, I knew chicken, hen, pencil, lapis, simple words, but I was able to learn English quickly. Within 6 months, I was able to translate at stores, at banks, at the doctors for my parents. From there, I went on to high school, and from high school, I decided I was in Connecticut. Well, actually, no. I have an older brother who went to high school and graduated. And once I graduated from high school, I decided I'm going to go to college. So Central is in New Britain. I used to ride my bicycle there, and in the winter, one of my siblings would drop me off. I worked full time and paid for Central part time. I fell in love with my social work teacher and decided I'm going to be a social worker. And once I started studying social work, I did do volunteer work and worked at Catholic Family Services providing counseling to children and their families. However, I felt that I didn't have a lot of power to change things. So in 1983, I decided I'm going to go to law school. I told my parents I'm going to law school, and they're like, "What? You're going to get married? Don't you want children?" I said, "No, I need to go to law school." And it's like, "Why?" Well, I feel that I need to contribute more to my community, my Latino community. And that's where in 1983 I met Attorney Richardson, and he was wild and crazy in those days. He was a lot of fun. We got involved with the criminal clinic, which was Michael Sheldon, who was our professor, then became a judge. He was an extremely intelligent man, and we got involved in representing Stephen Woods. At that time, Connecticut wanted had gotten rid of the death penalty, and no, we still had the death penalty, and they wanted to make sure that Mr. Woods would be put to death. We represented and did a lot in the summer of '84. We did a lot of research for Michael Sheldon and Joe Shorter, who was the public defender and now is a judge, and Robert Holzberg, who was also a professor and then became a judge and is no longer a judge. And we did a lot of research. We would stay up at night doing the research, and we found that there were mitigating factors not to kill Mr. Woods. And that's what happened. He didn't get to go to be the first person since the death penalty was enacted. From there, I graduated and became a public defender. I worked in Hartford at the public defender's office for 3 years. Most of my clients, or all of my clients, were poor, they were black, they were Latino, and were mostly drug users. And it was a hard job, but I fought the good fight, and was able to get a lot of people on probation, on programs, drug treatment programs, and back to work. After that, I had a private practice, and decided, you know what, I really need to go back to my roots, which is to help people. So I joined Greater Hartford Legal Aid. I've been working at Greater Hartford Legal Aid for the past 18 years, and I have been representing women who are domestic violence survivors. And at this juncture, I represent men and women who have been convicted in Connecticut of serious and misdemeanor crimes, and we represent them at the Board of Pardons and Parole, and we have been very, very successful in getting them pardoned, back to work, and back to raising a family. It's not been easy, but I've had a lot of fun. So it's been a pleasure to meet you. I congratulate the work you do, and I thank you again for inviting me.